Chapter 7. A Done Deed. Larry takes some beer from the fridge, and they go to sit out on his front porch, in the cool evening air. No one speaks for a long time, and the ear-ringing silence is broken only by the sound of a distant train whistle. "About 6 o'clock, announces Larry, turning his head in the whistle's direction. "She comes through here every night about now." The silence continues, as they all sit, motionlessly, pondering their grisly act. Suddenly, Larry looks up, spying a cloud of dust approaching up the lane. "What the hell is that?" he exclaims. "I thought I'd put up the closed sign." "And, who would want to fish at this time of night?" Petey stutters nervously. A police car is now coming into view. "What the hell?" exclaims Jack, his heart pounding in his throat. They watch, as the car pulls up and stops before them. Larry squints in the dim light, trying to peer into the window. Finally, the door opens and Tim steps out. "How's it going?" "Not bad," replies Larry, in the calmest voice he can muster. "I saw that closed sign out front. Are you gonna be closed tomorrow too?" Tim asks. "I wanted to bring my kid over to do some fishing." "No, back in business tomorrow," replies Larry. Tim then turns towards Jack and Petey. "How'd you guys make out here with that TV?" "It was just about hanging out of the trunk, and I wasn't sure if you would make it down this road here without it falling out." "Yeah, we made it down okay," replies Jack. "How's it working?" "Reception's not too good around here, you know." "Ain't hooked it up yet," Larry answers immediately. "Want a beer, Tim?" he adds, in an attempt to deflect further conversation away from the TV. "Not when I'm driving the car here," he points to the cruiser, "but, thanks anyway." "I'll see you tomorrow then, Larry." "So long, boys, it was nice seeing you again. Have a safe one home." With that, he gets back in the car. They all exhale in unison, as Tim pulls away. It is a long ride home. Not much is said, except for Petey telling Jack that he doesn't hold any grudges for being tricked. As for Jack, he only feels a perverse sense of satisfaction. One less smart-ass thug, he thinks silently. Besides, nobody really killed anyone, anyway, it was an accident. Even if the guy had been killed on purpose, so what? A prick that no doubt deserved it. Jack strolls out of his building's front door, and heads for his usual daily smoke on the bench. Once there, he sits and lights the cigar, with several long, slow draws. It has been a week since the morbid task was committed. Since then, Mrs. Murray has returned home from the hospital, and is doing well. The doctors attributed her remarkable recovery to the medication she is taking. Jack, however, is certain that the removal of the bag from the closet contributed significantly more to her improvement than did the medication. He told her as soon as she arrived home that the bag and its contents had been removed. She never even asked how, where, or when. He certainly never would have told her the gruesome details, even had she asked. Her only measurable response was overwhelming relief. He'd also spoken to both Petey and Hal several times since, small talk, bench talk. Neither he nor Petey said a word to Hal about their trip to Larry's. "Hey Hal. How you been?" Jack asks as Hal approaches the bench. "Not bad, not bad." "What you hearing around the neighborhood?" asks Jack, in a casual voice, which hides his intense curiosity. "Well, yesterday a guy in the building next to mine was telling me that he heard some street talk," replies Hal. "What do you mean, street talk?" asks Jack eagerly. "Stuff about that gang of young bastards, you know, the Firemen." "So, what did he hear?" asks Jack again, struggling to contain his curiosity. "Well, now the story's changed and I hear a different story about the guy they say was cut up by another gang. Now they say he's nowhere to be found, he just kinda went off, into thin air. Nobody knows where. And those punks seem to be thinking that he took off, with pretty much all their money." "All their money?" Jack questions. "Yeah, he was like a safety deposit box for the gang. He used to carry it around with him all the time, and whenever any of them needed cash, he just peeled it off to them. He used to give them chits, like little pieces of paper, telling them how much cash each had come in. I think he probably did it that way to keep control over them all. You know, the guy that's got the cash has always got the power." "You say he always kept the cash on him, in his pocket?" Jack reiterates in a startled tone. "Are you sure?" Incredulity and surprise are clearly evident in his voice. "I'm not sure about any of it, I'm just telling you what this guy told me." "How come the rest of them went for that arrangement?" Jack continues. "Why didn't they just demand their money up front?" "I don't know. I guess because the Sandman was a pretty merciless dude, a mean bastard. He had no fucking conscience, like an animal. I heard that one time he thought he got crossed by one of them, and he went and cut the guy's eye out. You probably seen him around, he's the one that's wearing the patch. It musta worked out good for him. That eye job musta scared the livin' shit out of all of them, 'cause they did just exactly what they was told after that. And they kept on letting him hold all the money. Like I said, they were all scared shitless of him from then on. All except for one guy, who was kinda his right-hand man. But I guess in the end he got screwed, 'cause the Sandman disappeared with his money too. What did you call him? Sandman? Yeah. They called him Sandman, 'cause he put a lot of guys to sleep, for keeps. Hal answers. What's the guy's name? Asked Jack. The one you said was his right-hand man. They call him DS, stands for Deuce of Spades, because he's number 2, and he's good at using a spade. To put people in the ground, that is. Who's the guy that's telling you all of this anyway? Asked Jack. What's his name? Like I told you, he's a guy that lives in the building next to mine. His name is Frank, I don't know his last name. I was taking the garbage out yesterday and I happened to meet him. He had a nom tattoo, Hal explains. I saw it and started talking to him. He was over there too in the Delta. He even got a couple of holes in his leg, for souvenirs. How does he know all this shit about the FM? He used to go almost every day to the box. You know, the lunch box, that little divey place on Hudson Street. He used to go about 10 o'clock in the morning to get a little breakfast, and who was always in there but a bunch of the gang. They always sit at the same table and bullshit with each other for an hour or two. He overheard it all. He doesn't go there anymore. Nah, he said listening to all their bullshit, day after day, was getting him so pissed off that he was beginning to get afraid that he'd start saying something. He thought maybe he couldn't control himself anymore, and that wouldn't work out too good for him if you know what I mean. So, he just decided to stay away. They never pay, they always tell Charlie, the owner, to put it on their tab, but, of course, they never pay the tab. It really pisses Charlie off, but what can he do about it? Not much, I guess, replies Jack with disgust, not much. Jack takes a final drag on the remainder of his cigar stub, discards it, then walks with Hal, back towards his building. Where's Hudson Street? He asks. This lunchbox? About 3 blocks down and turn left, you can't miss it, replies Hal, as they approach his house. Just look for the place with windows that haven't been washed in years.